Welcome to Community Recovery's YouTube channel. We are a community of changed lives. Tonight, Brad teaches Step 1, Powerless, admitting we are powerless and that our lives have become unmanageable. Hit the like and subscribe button.
Alright, y'all, so we are doing Step 1. Step 1 is a new beginning, and it is a way to just give it up into whatever it is and whatever you're struggling with. This is a good reminder of where we've all started for people who've got months underneath their belts or years. And if you haven't made the decision yet, it's a good time to come because we're going to start with Step 1. So, like the book said, Step 1 is admitting that we're powerless and need help. So, how do we do that? This is how I would do it, kind of. And then back after this, I'll kind of explain my story and like how I kind of realized that I was powerless and that I couldn't just drink on the weekends or just drink when periodically I had to put it down altogether, or I was never gonna put it down. So alcohol was my it. So we go admitting we're powerless, admitting powerlessness and that we need God to help is the first and most crucial step in addiction recovery. This step involves recognizing the addiction has taken control of our minds and that we need help. It requires an honest and deep self-reflection of one's situation and willingness to seek support. I think that's important to say that it requires a deep self-reflection. To really, like when you start this, like you got to really kind of look internally and just kind of realize like what you become. Like this thing has ruled your life. You can't put it down. You can't stop it. You have to really dig deep and understand like you're out of control. And that is sometimes hard, especially for me, because I don't like to admit defeat. So it also says addiction is a disease that affects the mind, body, soul. The first steps towards recovery is acknowledging the reality of addiction and its impact on our lives. For many people struggling with addiction, it can be a challenging step to take, as it requires facing the harsh realities of the situation and coming to terms with our addiction and the impacts on our lives. You all know I like to dive into the Bible when I do this, so here we go. The Bible teaches us the importance of humility, surrendering to God's will, and recognizing our limitations. James 4-10, I think it is, says, He gives grace generously. So we have a God that gracefully gives us grace, an abundance of it. And it says, God opposes the proud, but gives grace to the humble. So humble yourselves before God, resist the devil, and he will flee from you. Come close to God, and God will come close to you. Wash your hands, and it's how it's talking to us. It's kind of harsh. It says, wash your hands, you sinners. Purify your hearts, for your loyalty is divided between God and the world. Let there be tears. Let there be tears for what you have done. Let there be sorrow for deep grief. Let there be sadness instead of laughter, and gloom instead of joy. Humble yourselves before the Lord, and He will lift you up in honor. That's kind of crazy, like that we got to go through all that stuff when it says like, let there be sorrow and grief. I'm gonna tell you, when you start to work these steps, you're gonna have that. You're gonna have sorrow. You're gonna have grief. You're gonna be kind of beat down. But it's all a process to get us to where we need to be, so that we don't fall back into where we were, into the madness. It says that we got to humble ourselves. So it says for some of us, humbling ourselves is a very hard thing to do. To admit that we have a problem and need help. The Bible reminds us that God opposes the proud and gives grace to the humble. Pride is a hard thing for me to swallow in most cases. You might have been struggling with your addiction for years. And so I'm not going to read that. I'm just going to tell you. So pride is a hard thing for us to swallow sometimes. I know, just kind of thinking about like with my addiction and like with my wife, and then she kind of telling me I have a problem, and me saying, no, I don't have a problem. I know I don't have a problem. I can stop at any time. to take that pride pill and swallow it was a hard thing for me to do, because I've been trying to prove to myself and to my wife and my friends that I didn't have that issue. I could stop at any time. I was too prideful to put it down. So I had to take that pill and swallow it, and that kind of sucked, because I don't like to admit defeat. I am not one that goes down very easily, and there's not a lot of things that I back down from, and I thought I could beat it, but I had to come to the realization that I could not. So as we look through, like, how do we do this? How do we get to the point where we can, like, kind of swallow that? First, we gotta humble ourselves before God. Second thing is Bible verse says is that we resist the devil and he will flee from you. I will tell you that is 100% true. The more you stop doing bad stuff, the more you get closer to God, the more, not that he just leaves you alone, but you got a lot of power to resist him. God gives you the strength to resist the devil when he comes to you. Not that he like kind of like just like forgets about you, because he'll come back. He'll let you go for a little bit, and then he'll come back and he'll be like, hey, you've been doing real good. You've been 6 months sober. I know you can just take that drink. You deserve it. No, you don't. Just keep on getting close to God, and that'll help. It also says, come close to God and God will come close to you. So when I envision this, I take like one step towards God, and God takes like 500 towards me. And I take one more, he takes like 1,000. Like, he's going to get to you as quick as he can and will. He's just waiting for you to take that one little baby step, and I guarantee you he's going to be there in a heartbeat for you. It says that we also need to wash our hands from our sins and purify our hearts. So stop doing what we've been doing. Get our heart right with God, and that's a way to, like, admit we're powerless and that we need help. Those are things that we need to start doing, trying to figure out. And that might all be new if you're doing step one, but those are kind of things that we got to start kind of figuring out as we go along. And then it says to figure out where your loyalty is. Is your loyalty to the world, or is your loyalty going to be to God? Because you can't have both. You can't ride the fence and be loyal to the world and do worldly things, and then also be loyal to God. It's one or the other. I had to learn that the hard way too, because I told myself I was a Christian, but I did not live a Christian life. I was definitely more in the world and what the world was giving me, what the pleasures of the world was giving me. I was a Christian for about a couple hours a week when I came and sat down on Sunday mornings, most of the time with a hangover, hoping that it'd be done and that I could get it over with so I could get back to Sunday football and drinking, because that's what I enjoyed doing. Opening it right away with a kickoff team. I thought that was going to help my team win, stupid rituals that you have. So. Anyways, don't do that anymore. Okay. I actually gave football up because it was a hard thing for me to associate football with drinking, so I pushed that away. And there's a lot of things you'll start realizing once you admit you're powerless. There's a lot of things you're going to have to give up in your life. Not forever. I don't think forever. I don't think I'll give football up forever. I mean, I still keep track with it, but I don't sit down and watch the games anymore, because that was a trigger for me. So let's look at Proverbs. It says, Proverbs also reminds us that we cannot rely on our own understandings. It says, my child, never forget the things I've taught you. Just kind of a background, Proverbs verse 2 is teaching them about the benefits of wisdom. So it says, store my commands in your heart. If you do this, you will live many years and your life will be satisfying. Never let loyalty and kindness leave you. Tie it around your neck as a reminder. Write them deep within your heart, and then you will find favor with God and people, and you will earn a good reputation. Trust in the Lord with all your heart. Do not depend on your own understanding. Seek His will in all you do, and He will show you the path to take. He's going to show you that path. Don't be impressed with your own wisdom, because that's not going to get you anywhere. Instead, fear the Lord and turn away from evil. Then you will have the healing of your body and strength for your bones. All right. One, it says to never let your loyalty and kindness leave you. When we choose to admit we are powerless, we need to be loyal to that statement. We got to be loyal to saying that we're powerless. That's a hard thing. Like I said, loyalty is pretty strong with me. I'm pretty loyal. I've been through a bunch with my wife, and I can tell you that's one thing that's a strong thing for me is loyalty. So when I commit to doing something, I'm loyal to it. So I think that's why it took me so long to stop drinking and to come here, because I wasn't ready to. Like, I just told myself I can just drink on the weekends or whatever. But when I fully stopped, I knew, me personally, I was going to become loyal to that, and I was afraid of what my life would look like without being intoxicated for almost all the part of the weekends and then during the evenings when I got off work. So, like I said, we got to be loyal when we choose to do that. When we choose to admit that we're powerless over it. It also says, if we are loyal, we will find God, and people will earn a good reputation. How many of y'all's reputation was destroyed when you guys started doing your it? Were people talking behind your back, or talking to your friends stating like, don't hang around that person, he's not good, or don't let your kids around this person because he's always doing this or she's always doing this. Like, your reputation when you were using probably was not very good. But we can find hope, because it says, if we are loyal, we will find favor in God and in people. So our people are going to come back to us, and we will earn a good reputation. I wanted a good reputation for me, for my work, for my family, and most importantly for my kid that I got. I wanted her to be around a dad who was going to be present, who wasn't going to be known for the person that had to drink every single second that he was off work. That was important to me. So, and I feel like my reputation is like that now. Almost 2 years sober, I feel that my reputation is turning in a good way, in that I am not that person. I don't live a double life. I don't say I'm a Christian and then go and do stupid stuff every other day of the week. So it does come back, I can guarantee you that. It also says that we might be thinking, okay, if we admit we're powerless, what do we do? Well, it says we need to trust in the Lord, that He's going to get us out of the madness once we admit we are powerless. And we need to trust in the Lord with all of our hearts and depend not on our own understanding. When we seek Him in all we do, He will show us the path to take. All right, so we got to get out of our way. We got to get out of our stupid way and thinking that our way is better than God's way, because that's not how that works. My way is normally right when it comes to my wife, but and I can tell that because you're right there. But it is, it's really not. God's way is the only way. So I implement this even like when my wife and I have an argument. She and I won't talk about this, but like when we have an argument, it's hard for me to get out of my own way and just be like, because I feel like I'm right, but if I really am being how God wants me to be and listening to Him and His understanding, it doesn't matter who's right? It doesn't matter who did what or what did what. I'm supposed to love her like God loved the church. And is my attitude acting like that? No. All right. So like, even though I feel like I'm right, God's way is always better. And especially with our addictions, it's just we gotta get out of our own way and let God just work in our lives. But you can't do that until you admit you're powerless. And I truly believe that you just gotta set it down and I remember I remember clearly, I got out of the shower. You know me, when I shower, I sit down and pray. Well, I sat down and I know that about you, actually. And I was,
we do now.
And I just remember just sitting there on the edge of the bathtub with my head hung, and I just was like, God, please just take this away from me. I don't want this in my life anymore. I just don't know where to start or how to figure out what I need to do to get rid of it. And thankfully, that was the last time that I drank was that night before. I'm not saying that works for everybody, but for me, God helped me when I first was humbling myself, coming to Him, understanding that I am powerless over this. I need His help. I can't do it alone. My way is not working. I can't just stop during the week. I can't just drink on the weekends. I've tried all that. I've tried hiding liquor. I can't do it. I've had my wife hide liquor from me. I still go and find it. Like, it didn't work. So I had to humble myself, basically on my knees, asking God just to take this from me. And it worked, and it was helpful, so that was good. So, also I got some stuff written. It says, this verse encourages us to trust in God's plan for our lives, seek His guidance to all things, including addiction recovery, and submit our healing to God, and let Him work through us. As an addict, it's easy to feel that we are powerful and in control, but if you try to stop your addiction, whether it be drugs, alcohol, pornography, food, gambling, etc., and you keep going back to it, even though you don't want to, this shows the powerless nature in your mind and body without Christ. To admit powerlessness and the need for help is essential to acknowledge the damage that the addiction has caused in one's life, such as strained relationships, financial difficulties, and physical health problems. It requires an honest evaluation of our behaviors and our willingness to seek professional help, such as Christian counseling or medical treatment. Admitting powerless over addiction also involves recognizing that we cannot control our addiction. That's important. We cannot control our addiction. How many people, I keep going back to this. I tried. I couldn't control it. It's impossible once you're addicted to something. And it doesn't have to be alcohol. I know that's me, that's what I use, but like it says over here, like pornography, alcohol, drugs, there's just a lot of things that our body is addicted to, or can become addicted to. So we cannot overcome it with sheer willpower or determination alone. As Paul writes in Romans, it says, the trouble is with me. So this is kind of like how I feel when I was drinking. Confused. I felt confused, and this is how I feel that Paul is saying. It says, trouble is with me, for I am all too human, a slave to sin. I don't really understand myself for what I want to do what is right, but this is a tough one, so bear with me, okay? But I don't do it. Instead, I do what I hate. But if I know what I'm doing is wrong, this shows what I agree that the law is good. So that's kind of saying, like,
can you repeat that?
Yeah. It says, but if I know what I'm doing is wrong, this shows that I agree the law is good. All right. So if I drink a couple beers before I get in the car and drive my family somewhere, I know that I am breaking the law. I know it's not good, but I did it anyways because I'm a simple person and I can't control my sins. That's kind of what that's saying. Does that explain that to you, Caleb?
Good breakdown.
I don't get it.
Thanks. Okay. So I am not the one doing wrong. It is the sin that lives. It is the sin living in me that does it. And I know that nothing good lives in me that is in my sinful nature. I want to do what is right, but I can't. I want to do what is good, but I don't. I don't want to do what is wrong, but I do it anyways. But if I do what I don't want to do, I am not really the one doing wrong. It is the sin living in me that does it. I have discovered this principle of life that when I want to do what is right, I inevitably do what is wrong. I love God's law with all my heart, but there is another power within me that is at war with my mind. This power makes me a slave to my sin that is still within me. Oh, what a miserable person I am. Oh, what a miserable person. So, like, that was a little, I'm not the best reader, and I'm sure y'all are confused with what I just talked about. But basically, he's in torment with himself. He knows what he's supposed to do is right. He's still not doing it. And then when he does do it, he feels bad about it. And I don't know if y'all have ever felt like that. Like you reach for some instant gratification from that the world's going to give us for a short period of time. And alcohol is like I feel like is one of the worst, because like you get a short period, oh, I'm feeling great, I'm feeling lively, woohoo, and then the next morning you feel like crap. Like your belly hurts, you gotta go to the bathroom, and then it's me. That's what happened to me, okay? And then if you're stupid enough like me, you do it all again the next day. And then you live that same morning over and over and over and over and over until you can't live without drinking, you continue to drink throughout the day. All right, where was I? I love God with the law. I never really do what's wrong. But another power lives within me that is at war with my mind. This power makes me a slave to sin that is still within me. Oh, what a miserable person I am. Who will free me from life that is going to cause my sin to be my death? Thank God that the answer is Jesus Christ our Lord. It reminds us that we need God to help us overcome our weakness and limitations. So the only way out is to humble ourselves, admit we're powerless. You gotta go find God. God is gonna help you. I truly believe that you can admit you're powerless, you can admit that you need help, but if you don't find God, you're gonna keep doing step one over and over. Because you gotta give it up. That's the hard thing. But it's for your benefit. Definitely was for mine. Overall, admitting powerlessness and the need for support and God's help is the first step towards addiction recovery. It requires humility, honesty, and willingness to seek help. The Bible teaches us the importance of surrendering to God's will, trusting His plan, and acknowledging our limitations. By asking this first step, we can begin the journey towards freedom and healing from addiction. So, some of the things that I got this little reflection question that I found that says, what are the ways in which my addiction had impacted my life, relationships, faith, overall well-being? I stated this because I thought it was good for me to go back through this. I said that my addiction impacted my life in several ways. For example, I was planning my life around when I was going to get my next drink. If I was not sure when I was going to get my next drink, I would have a few beers real fast before driving my family to wherever we were going. I mean, that's true. I'll tell my wife, hold on, I'll be right there in the car. And then sometimes she'd come in and catch me, but sometimes she probably already knew what I was doing, but sometimes she'd be like, why are you taking so long? I'd be finished with the last drop. I would chug that beer like 15, 20 seconds, just trying to, the first one, the second one went down a little slower. But it was, that's what I would do. And how stupid of me to get in the car and drive my infant after doing that. And it's not the first drink I'd had that day. It's just I didn't know when I was going to get another one, so that's what I did. I'm thankful that God didn't teach me the hard way and pull me over with DUI and take the car and leave Jess, and I guess she could have drove the car, but I mean, how embarrassing would that have been with my family in there? So I was lucky to not have to go through that. It started to impact our relationships with the people I hung around. I started hanging around people who drink more than me to make myself feel better. At least I'm not drinking like that person. He's got it real bad. Started realizing that, like, that's where, and obviously if I was hanging around people who are drinking more than me, they probably weren't making the best decisions in their lives. So I had all these bad decision people making around me to make myself feel better for my bad decisions I was doing, which could have led down to different, I mean, thankfully it didn't, but I mean, if I was going to get worse and worse and I was going to hang around people that were doing worse stuff than me, I mean, eventually I could have gone down that path where I started using with a needle or taking pills to overcome that. Maybe I would have done cocaine or something like that to get me up from how much I was drinking to boost me back up so I could drink more. I don't know. I'm glad I'm glad I stopped before I got there, but it could have happened. It started by relationship. I only want to hang out with people who drink. It took a toll on my relationship with my wife. I didn't know that at the time until I kind of got sober. I kind of was like, I think because we were both drinking, by the way. So we were kind of just like in our own little drinking world. But we definitely had to address that after we got sober, and there was a lot to address there. A lot of anger, a lot of hate, a lot of keeping score, and just resentment, to be honest. I just did not like her at that moment in time after I stopped drinking. I was like, who the hell am I married to? But we worked through that. We're going strong. We really are going strong. We've done a lot better. And I think that we are in it. I know we're in it for the long haul. Divorce is out of our dictionary. There won't be any more talk about that. But I guarantee you, if I would have kept drinking, she would have left. She would have left. As far as my faith, it was lacking due to the sin that was in my life. Like I said, I was here calling myself a Christian for about 2 hours, and then back to what I was doing after Sunday afternoon. Couldn't wait to go find someone to hang out with so I could go drink with them. Another question is, what are the fears that arise when I consider seeking help for my addiction, and how can I address them? My biggest fear was I wasn't going to have no more fun. I was so afraid to stop drinking because I didn't think I was going to have any more fun. I had built my whole life around alcohol. I told myself the lie that said, you only have fun if you're drinking. I looked for every opportunity to drink and celebrate something. I remember having a cooler full of beer, basically for myself, when celebrating my kiddo's first birthday. I was more concerned about having beer and bourbon than I was celebrating my own kiddo's birthday. I remember bits and pieces of it. She doesn't know how drunk I was. I can hide it pretty well. My eyes get a little lazy, but I don't really remember a lot of that. Like I said, I was more concerned with a beer full of cooler of bourbon, and that my brother-in-law was coming over to drink, so I'd have a buddy who was going to drink with me. And I knew that, and that's who I hung around, instead of addressing and being sober for my kid's first birthday. I was more worried about getting drunk, and that's kind of silly. It's kind of stupid, actually. And also, another question is, how can I cultivate a sense of humility and openness in receiving help and support from others? Well, one of the ways you can do is by coming here. So if you've already done that, you start in the right direction. Another way is, I think, is really what helped me is when we broke into small groups. I'm really thankful for Caleb bringing me here, because I don't think I would have made it without getting here. I was about 6 months sober. They call it white knuckling. And that was hard. I kept telling him, I think I've already told you all this, but I was like, I can't come here anymore. And he's like, why? I was like, because every time I come here, my mouth is like salivating, and I just want to go drink, because that's all we're talking about. But that was just an excuse.
Done nothing about it in 6 months.
It was just an excuse for me not to come, but I got over that. Thanks to Caleb, he definitely helped me, talk me through that, and said, dude, this isn't going to last forever. He's like, every day is going to be easier. And it did. But you got to start with the blue chip right there. So there was, me and my songs. I like my songs. Why are you not coming in?
Disconnected, so you should be.
Did we do it for you?
I got it.
I was getting ready to say, where's Keith?
Don't you worry.
Yeah, break it.
Caleb.
Okay, everybody hijack.
I wrote the song different a few years ago, but I feel like the Lord is teaching it to me in a whole new way right now. A few months ago, we found out that my grandmother has blood cancer. And as hard as it's been to watch her lose her hair as she takes her treatments, her faith has remained intact. A few weeks later, Hurricane Harvey came for my hometown, and in 2 days, poured 44 inches of rain on my house. As we're in the process of replacing the flooring and releveling our foundation, we keep waiting on things to get back to normal. And then, just a few weeks ago, we found out that my little brother Daniel has stage 4 colon cancer. After the shock and the tears, my family is preparing to fight by his side as he gets ready to start chemo. And in the midst of all this, the prayer that I kept saying was, Jesus, can you just change these things? Can you stop the cancer? Can you stop the storms? But he's chosen not to stop these things just yet. And I'm finding out that sometimes the best question is not, Jesus, can you change these things around me? But instead, God, can you change me so that I can handle the things that you're walking me through?
Y'all hear that?
Yeah.
Can you change me to handle the things that I'm walking through? That's a very important question to ask when we're supposed to do step one, because this thing called the devil, this person called the devil, he's going to come at you as hard as he can to get you back to what you were doing. You got to ask God for the help to change you so that you can handle the things that are to come towards you. And that's where we got to be different, and that's where this song comes in. And I just wanted to stop that and just kind of do that, because, I mean, obviously this dude's life is falling apart right now. He has got a lot of issues going on, but instead of complaining about it, he's asking God to change him so he can see a different perspective on everything.
Who is that, Brad?
So I keep
It's
saying
Micah Tyler.
and praying and believing the words of this song, because I know that he is changing me. And that is making all the difference.
Such a good video. It's such a good video. Yes, I played this like one of the first times I came.
I don't want to hear
Feels very well
anymore. Teach
said.
me to listen. I don't want to see anymore. Give me a vision that you could move this heart to be set apart. I don't need to recognize the man in the mirror, 'cause I don't want to trade your plans for something familiar. I can't waste a day, 'cause I can't stay the same. I wanna be different, I wanna be changed, till all of me's gone, and all that remains is a fire so bright, the whole world can see that there's something different, so come and be different in me. I don't wanna spend my life stuck in a pattern, and I don't wanna gain this world but lose what matters. And so I'm giving up everything, because I wanna be different, I wanna be changed, till all of me is gone, and all that remains is a fire so bright, the whole world can see that there's something different, so come and be different. Oh, I know that I am far from perfect, but through you the cross still says I'm worth it. So take this beating in my heart and come and finish what you've started. When they see me, let them see you, 'cause I just wanna be different, yeah. I wanna be different, I wanna be changed, till all of me is gone, and all that remains always a fire so bright, the whole world can see that there's something different, so come and be different. I just wanna be different, so could you be different in me?
Alright, y'all. I'm gonna ask one more time because I think it's important. But if you're ready to start that journey to be different and to be changed, I'm gonna leave this right here so y'all can get that. It's a change. It's a different making ability when God comes into our lives, and we start this journey, because you aren't the same person you were before. You're gonna be different. I guarantee that. If you take that blue chip and you start this. So that's all I got.
That completes our Step 1, Powerless. Please hit the like and subscribe button and check out our YouTube channel for more videos and more steps. This has been Community Recovery, CR on the Hill.